afternoon, YouTube, or early evening. It's 4:06 in the afternoon or early evening on the first day of September, 2021, and we're on our second day of shooting from Stick Right One. So we're still not bidding, and we're still going to be using the 4545 until I get it down, and then I can start rhythm rolling or using different sets. Not that I plan on getting it down pat, but at least satisfactory to where I can use it at a casino, just in case, good scenario. But anyway, thank y'all for watching. Thank you for joining in and hopefully critiquing my throws. So if you have any comments, questions, concerns, observations, please feel free to put it down in the comments, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And again, I appreciate you and watching. I noticed that the last few videos, the background music was really, really loud. So what I decided to do is just turn off the background music, or turn down the background music, so this way you can actually hear me instead of it going in and out with the limiter. All right, 4545, 6 right, 1. Like so. 516. EV6. Since I won't have background music, I guess I'll talk to y'all or at least call out the numbers. This way it's not it's not completely silent. Even though normally, if I wasn't recording, I wouldn't be talking, obviously. Like that. 516, right back on that 6. Winner. Front line winner. Like that. 516. Right back on that 6. So, I mean, it's been 5-1, I think 5-1 each time, so that's not too bad. I've been trying to hit the same landing zone at the same time, so seems to be working. Oh, there's my air conditioning again. Great. Aces in both places. Give me just a second, and I'm going to try to get my AC back on. Okay. That was a complete drift to the right, and it would have been part 10. So at least it was complete drift. Like that. 213. So now my right die is going off axis, and my left die is staying on axis. Still okay. 4545. Hard 10, 5510. So I take for granted how we call out our dice sets and whatnot. And I think that most people that are watching this channel already know it. But for those of you that are new to craps and just happen to find my channel, which would be, a very, very slim and small percentage. But dice sets are called out by the numbers on top and the numbers facing you. So a 4-5-4-5 set is the left die is in the right die. 4 is on top and 5 is facing you. That's the most common way of calling out dice or name for the set. 3-5-8. So whenever I call out numbers like 3-5-8 just now, I always say the left die first, which is the green die, and the right die is the red die. So right is always, for me, the right is always red. So that's how I can tell. But there is a specificity when it comes to calling out dice. If you're trying to learn the mechanics of what's going on, like so. So 2, 6, 8, and it doesn't really have too much of a sway whenever you're using a hardware set. But if you're using a different set, then you know what's going on with each die. So that last row, the 2-6, means that my left die was on axis and my right die was off axis. Means that the 6 or the right die came in imploded. That's out. 2, 4, 6 imploded and gave us that result. Now the 2, 4, 6 that I just called out, they're both on axis hits, or it's both on axis results. So for those of you who are new, again, anyone who's listening to me right now, this is all reviewed and pretty boring. But 2, 4, 6 means that it's staying on axis, which means that it's not straight, it's not turning left or right, it's just staying on one plane, on the horizontal plane. On the y-axis. That's it. 3, 1, 4. 4 is our new point. So the 3, 1, 4 is off axis. The right die is off axis, and the left die stayed on axis. The right die stayed off axis, or the right die was off axis. The left die was on axis. Right off, left on. So I'm telling you this because one, there might be a beginner or someone new to craps watching this channel. I doubt it, but just in case. And also, I'm just giving y'all what's going on in my mind every time that I throw the dice and see results. That's that. 6, 2, 4, 6. These are both on axis. I need to be careful. But the 2, 4, 6 doesn't really scare me being on axis. It's when I get 5 3s or 3 5s is when I start getting worried. The reason being is that if I get a 3 or a 5, I know that it's rotating 2 rotations at least, which one rotates twice and the other rotates 3 times, which is a little more than double pitch. And double pitches on hardware sets are 7. I obviously don't want that. That's out. 3, 2, 5. So what a double pitch is, for those of you who don't know the terminology, again, for the beginners, not so much for anyone who's watching and know all this already, is when one die stays on axis or both dice stay on axis and one die rotates forward or backward twice while the other one stays the same, basically stays the same. So in this case, I have a 4, 5, 4, 5. If the right die rotates twice and the left die stays the same, I get a 4, 3, 7. But in the opposite, if the right die stays the same and the left die rotates twice, then it's a 3, 4, 7. That counts. 5, 4, 9. So that's why double pitching is so bad. And that's why whenever I see a 5, 3, it's either the right die, or the left die, sorry. See 5, 3, the left die rotates 1, 2, 3. Hold on. Rotates once, and the 3 rotates twice. So that's dangerous because all the left eye had to do was stay as a 4, 5. There goes my AC again. Figures. And be a double pitch. So I just need to adjust my power and throw, release, and all that good stuff. That's out. 4, 1, 5. But that's also why I want one of my dice to always be off axis with this set. Because that way, with a hardware set, if you have one die off axis all the time, they'll just, oh, I haven't put it in yet, have I? I don't know. Have I hit the small already? Huh. Okay, cool. What I was saying is that with the hardware set, if you have one die on axis and one die off axis, you will never have a 7. And with my mechanics, that tends to happen a lot. So one die usually stays off axis and one stays on axis. And that leads me to thinking about the other sets, the V sets, the other 2 families of sets, kissing sets and V sets. Like that. Because cross-fixed sets are essentially the same thing. Now the 6, 1, 7. So that wasn't too bad of a first roll. What was it, in the teens? 14? Not bad, considering I was talking the whole time and not trying to concentrate and talk at the same time, but it's kind of difficult, especially with me being 6 right at the moment because I'm not left-handed. But this result came from, so it's a 6, 1, 7, which means the dice imploded, which means that I push with my thumb. So what does that mean? Wait, it was a 6, 1, 7. No, it exploded. I'm sorry. So let's say that, yeah, the 4, 5, 4, 5 looking at you, right? That's correct. In order to get the 6 on the left die, it has to move outwards to the left. And in order to get the 1 on the right die, it has to move out to the right. That's called an explosion. And on a hardware set, that's a 7. On any hardware set, that's a 7. So, and the implosions are also curved. If you implode on the left side with this set, you get a 1. If you implode on the right side with this set, you get a 6. So that's why it's so important to be able to track your die, and just you don't have to track both. You just need to track one of them, and you have the result, so you know what happens. Our point's a 9. New point's 9. 5, 4, 9. So this way you learn from your 7s as you become more experienced as a shooter. I'm not saying that I'm that experienced at all. I mean, I consider myself maybe a little above average whenever it comes to reading dice and trying to correct my mistakes. And that's thanks to George from CY, by the way. I try to watch him every single morning/night that he practices. He's got a great channel. He teaches so much, and he doesn't charge anything. He's bringing his love of the game to everybody that watches him. He explains stuff. That's where I learned dice sets, dice mechanics, dice family behaviors, the dice families themselves. Just a wonderful human being overall. And I'm proud to call him my friend. Finally going to be able to actually meet him in person in September in Vegas. But anyway, I'm pretty much a super fan of George. And anyone who's been in the press for a length of time that knows George 527, that was a double pitch. So I swung a little bit. My upswing was a little too fast this time. And what that produced was more rotations of the die. So if you actually pause and go back and watch, you'll see that, or at least go in slow-mo or half speed or whatever, you'll see that one die rotated faster than the other. That was me putting too much upswing and not enough follow through. Anyway, so check out George from CY's channel on YouTube. He does his live practices every day, usually twice a day. He also hosts live fantasy craps on Sundays, where a bunch of us, well, not me anymore because I have to work all the time, get together on a Skype call. Most people have their own tables or throwing stations, receiving stations, sites out, or practice rigs, and they just point their phones at their tables. That's a 6, 4, 10 p.m. 10 is their point. And they play that way. It's basically like a virtual table, to where you're just hanging out, just talking smack, and just having a good old time. It doesn't cost anything to do. You just ask George about it. Same set, 4, 5, 4, 5. I'm going to try to correct my upswing and try to correct my follow through, which I didn't do a follow through last time, so that might have contributed to the more rotations sights out. 1, 5, 6. Oh wait, hold on. I had a 7 after that, 6, and then I had a 10, and now I have a 6. All right. And now I have no AC. One of these days, I'll have this fixed. And I might not ever have this fixed, to be perfectly honest with you. If I can last a few more months, couple more months really, I won't really have to worry about air conditioning kicking off, because right now what's happening is that it's so hot that it kicks off and it just disconnects itself as a safety feature, which is good because I don't want to burn this place down. I don't want to lose my table. Like that. 246. I'm back on active, but the 246 doesn't scare me that much. So as y'all are probably watching, I use my right hand to like set my dice and get them even, in my left hand, since I'm shooting from stick left, to pick them up and use my tactile senses in my fingers to make sure that they're even whenever I pick them up. Dice out. 358. So now it's scaring me. So I need to adjust somehow. Right. And my adjustment is going to be follow through and upswing again, because the 5-3 is on axis, and I don't really want on axis. Dice up. There it goes. 5-4-9. Still on axis, but it's not a 3. It's not a 5-3-8. So I'm happy with that. Oh, bad landing zone. Yep. I felt it. Felt it in the air. Right when I threw, the air conditioning kicked off and it flickered the lights. I don't know if you saw, but I'm not trying to use any excuses, but I got distracted. My landing zone went to the left instead of over here, and went over here. You might not think it's a big deal. Well, that sight turn. Might not think it's a big deal, but these are really, really small distances, the length of dice, and that small of a distance from here to here is a lot of pair of dice. So say that you have one die right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 rotations. So that will give your dice a double pitch, or not a double pitch, but makes it so, what is it called? Makes it so that it's not as controlled as you want it to be, and potentially give you a bad result that you don't want, which is obviously that 7. You know, something in my eye. Dice up. 6-3-9. 9 is our point again. It's been 25 minutes, so this will probably be the last round. is I'm trying to keep these at 30 minutes for y'all, because one, I honestly don't like talking that much. Two, I have to get to work eventually, and I haven't eaten yet, so I need to get food. And three, y'all don't want to watch me longer than 30 minutes, really. Heck, y'all probably don't even want to watch me the whole 30 minutes. Like that. Hard 8, 4, 4, 8. And I don't blame you. I'm kind of monotoned, kind of boring. I have a weird way of talking, and I'll kind of pause. It's almost Shatner-esque, but I'm not trying to be like him at all. That's out. 5, 3, 8. Right back on that 8. But it's like, again, the 5, 3 scares me. Any 8 that's not hard, like the 5, 3 especially, or the 3, 5 scares me. The other two don't. Because the other two means I'm on access, primary, or that one die is off axis and the other one stayed the same. On axis primary means that both your die are on axis, so they're on the same y plane, y axis, rotate the same way, and they land the same. So the two numbers on top are the two numbers you get dice out, or rather, 3, 6, 9. That's our point. Or rather, on a set, a primary hit is any of the spaces that are the same. So, like, I don't think I'm explaining that correctly. It's kind of odd how I'm explaining it. So let's say that you have a 4, 5, 4, 5 set. If you rotate both die one quarter turn, they're both 5s, right? The hardware set. So that would be a primary hit. Rotate again, the 3s are up top, primary hit. Rotate again, 2s are on top, primary hit. So that's what a primary hit is. When both die are on axis, rotating at the same speed, or at least you get the same result as if they were doing that. Dice out. 4, 5, 9. Right back on that 9. Nina. Kind of a bad throw. Both my die kind of separated and split, which means they didn't land on the table evenly. Because if they land on the table evenly, they roll forward. They might have a little backspin, but that's to be expected because I put backspin on this. I don't know how to put forward spin. I'm not that advanced. That's out. Hard 6, 3, 3, 6. That was too little of power because the left die did not hit the back wall at all. It just hit here and actually had the backspin and came back a little bit. So if I were at a casino, I would get flacked by the dealers and kind of keep low key, not draw attention, even though if I'm playing, we're going to have a bunch of people together that are all hooting and hollering. Dice out. Especially if we're all making money. 3, 1, 4. So honestly, it's like if I were to step up to the right, stick right, would y'all bet on me? I mean, be honest. You'd have to, like, it's not going to hurt my feelings either way because it's ultimately your choice and your decision because it's your money. You play however you want. You can play the don't or the dark side, light side. But would y'all, like, given the 4 practices that I've done, including the practice with George that one night, would y'all bet money on me if I set this a stick right dice out? 527. Well, that was it. So that's the question I posed for y'all. Given these results, given the results from the other three practices, what would y'all do? Would y'all put money? And if y'all would, or if y'all do, what strategy would you use? Because I'm not a strategist. I wholeheartedly want to know how y'all would bet on me to most maximize your profits. Because I don't know. I just like throwing dice. All right, with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at our stats. Wow, I had a lot of sixes. 15, 3, 2, 6, 7. So those were your metrics. Based off today's. Box numbers 79%. Inside numbers 67%. Fours and tens are kind of low, 11%, which is good. Horn numbers are 5.8. So that's complementary to the box number hit. Sevens, come out sevens had 0 come out sevens. So every 7 that I hit was a 7 out. SOR was 6.8, which is bad. I think a little over 0.2% over random. I think not even. It's like 1.4% or 0.14% over random. SRR, I think it's not even 0.5% more than random. Not 0.5% is 0.5, but less than 0.05% less than more than random. So not a very particularly good session in my mind, according to SOR and SRR. Because my goal is to have by this time next year, I want my SRR to be in the double digits and my SOR, at least in the double digits as well. But that's my goal. Here's the chart. I underperformed on everything except the nines and 8 or 9s and 6s, and the 0.7 outs. So, so based off the graph, I didn't do very well. Anyway, thank y'all for joining me. Hope y'all learned something, or at least I got a good review out of it, and I didn't bore you too much, because again, I'm monotoned and I'm kind of boring. So, with that being said, y'all stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.